Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for signing in to the Leilani Community Association June 9th board meeting. The agenda is posted online at our website. We invite you to have that window open at the same time, and then you can follow along with us. Mr. Kendall, would you like to call the meeting to order?
Yes, I would. Do roll call. Dendra Best, President.
Here.
Steve Vizena, Treasurer.
Here.
Rod Kendall, VP and Secretary, here.
Yeah.
It's a quorum. Yes, we can start.
Yeah, it is 7:01 p.m. and let's have a look here. We have some other people joining. Okay, let's get underway. Would you like to run the meeting, Mr. Kendall? Or would you like me to run through the agenda? Okay,
yes, I don't have the agenda in front of me.
Okay, we have two lots of minutes to accept. There was the minutes from April 14th, 2022, and the minutes from the annual meeting of April 23rd. I would entertain a consensus motion to accept the minutes.
Accept.
I accept.
Accept. Okay. The minutes are duly accepted and approved. Briefly, there was a ballot initiative. The notarized results have been presented from the association and from the non-availee homeowner association who conducted the count and audited the process. The results are again posted on the official website here. If you scroll all the way down, you will see the eventual vote was, and I will just read that to make sure. 218 votes to remove Mr. Delaney, Mr. Denny, and Mr. Ellis. 61 votes to retain Mr. Delaney, Mr. Denny, and Mr. Ellis. That being said, these gentlemen are no longer members of the Board of Directors of the Leilani Community Association.
That's correct. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the treasurer's report.
All righty. The P&L and balance sheet have been posted. So if there's any questions, let me know on that. Other than that, we did encounter some banking issues that we're working through currently. And that's all I have to say for now.
Yeah, I think if anyone takes a look at that, you will notice that we have a very healthy balance. This time of year, the profit and loss always looks worse than it is because the bulk of our money comes in the early spring. But you will notice that regardless of what the actual balance was for the month of May, we have a very healthy bank account, and we have other issues that we're going to talk about on the agenda that will make it even more. So
one thing I did want to add is when we first were seated, there was a very, very large outstanding accounts receivable, and we've managed to collect a pretty healthy portion of that, which wasn't included in the yearly budget. So we're in a lot better shape than we were when we joined.
yeah, yes, indeed, we were. Okay, anything else? Do you want to add anything, Mr. Kendall, about that? Okay. Let's take a look here. Okay, we are moving on to something actually quite exciting. There's an item on the agenda for the Kumakahi engineering review. Posted on the website is one of the LiDAR, the ground penetrating radar images. I know there's been some discussion that this was confined to one section of Kumakahi. That is not correct. They actually surveyed all the way down to Malama. There is a long scan there's quite a large file, so I did not post that, but we're going to make all of that material available for you. The concern is where Kumakahi meets Malama. Anybody that's been up and down Malama will know that there are some definite deformations in the roadway there. The deformation where Kumakahi meets Malama, the ground penetrating radar shows that the void is 18 inches below the road surface. We have an agreement to have the firm come back and to do more of the road surveys up and down Malama. And actually, Mr. Gendel, did you want to give a quick overview of the meeting we had with the county this week, where we showed off the scans and that?
Yes, we had 3 nice ladies from the killer recovery team came down and wanted to review what we got for our money. So escorted them around, showed them the different road patches that were repaired. We got out and walked up Kumakahi and talked about what we needed in the future. Most interesting, they say there is some money coming down the line, and they're going to review all the different projects that they've been involved on and talk to people and get reports and took pictures. And that might set us up to get another round of funding to repair that part of the road and some of our other patches.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like showing people a picture and being able to do a scientific engineering report of exactly what needs to be done. One of the issues that we wanted to address and why we hired this firm to come do this, and let's be honest, they discounted the rate to do this considerably by about 7/8 of what it would normally cost. Because I don't think people realize that this technology was actually available. And what it does is it shows you where the need is and what needs to be done before you start spending a chunk of money digging things up. Because the worst thing we can do there is excavate a hole and find that it's way more than we anticipated. So we're very, very happy with that. Anything else you want to add about the engineering review, gentlemen?
No, just thank you, Rod and Dendra, for doing that.
Well, we went up and down the roads. I'm somewhat familiar with the roads, but not as familiar with somebody who's going over a particular patch all the time. So if you find an indication of where you think is a sink or a wavering of the roads, please let us know so we can come out almost immediately and see it, and maybe get these people to come out again with their equipment and check that part by your house.
Did they look at the part between Oniloa and Kumakahi on Malama?
I'm trying to remember. They went a certain way down and up in both directions.
No, we came up Kumakahi right to the depression we know and went left.
Yeah.
We didn't take a right to go to Oniloa.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because right where the road starts going up on Malama, it is sinking there.
Yeah. So again,
I'll go
doing
look at that tomorrow.
Yeah, we need to do that. Doing this and having those scans and the report, and then being able to submit this for funding, I think is going to stand us in pretty good stead. It's hard to argue with a picture. So moving right along here, the next item on here. In May, we were going to talk about the junk and abandoned car program, and there is a post on the website that we already alerted the community to this possibility. We've been talking with Neighborhood Watch about how to actually put this into practice, because as everybody knows, you can't just go onto somebody's property. There's property rights, there's access. We can't be accused of trespassing. So if there is just need to check here. Somebody was trying to log in here. If it's abandoned on the road right away, then the police will come out and ticket it, and we can have it removed. we've had a number of complaints, and this was actually one of the things that we talked about at the last, actually only architectural and CCR committee meeting that we've had, because we really haven't had that many applications or complaints. But the principal complaints were from people who live next door to properties with a lot of junk cars on them. How do we make it palatable for people to remove them? Now, if the car is on a property that we have permission to go onto, we can inspect the vehicle to see if there's a VIN number. If we can find the VIN number, we can check if there's a legitimate owner, a title. If none of those are on file, we can apply for a quick claim title to that vehicle, at which point we can work with this company. And again, I'll make a note of the post and the company that anybody on the call can call and have this. If you have a junk car on your property, they will pay you to come take it away. And there's no greater incentive for removing junk cars from our community than if somebody comes and gives you money to take it away. So there are a couple of procedures and policies, a couple of legal permission documents that we have to get in place. But the agreement with the company is if we have, say, 5, 6, 10 vehicles that are ready to haul, they will come get them. And I believe it's, and I shouldn't say it's big, but I think that to get a title it is $15. I'd have to check on that, but that was the last figure I heard. So at that point, we would pay for the title. And if we're having them moved away, the company will pay us to take these vehicles away. The program will become self-funding. And anytime we can do anything that removes a problem that we don't have to pay for, that pays us back for doing this, this is what we're going to do.
Did anybody look at that car on Lower Malama that's sticking up into the grass that Michael has to mow around?
It's gone.
They moved it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
That house used to have about 12 vehicles. Today I only saw 5, and none of them were close to the road.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So again, anybody on the call, if you have a vehicle that you don't want anymore, and you don't want it sitting at the end of your driveway or in your back 40, leaking onto the ground, call the company. I will post that link again when we put up the draft minutes for this meeting. If you know of a property with a lot of junk cars on it, and again, remember, if it's on the road right away, that's an issue for the police. They will come, take it away, put a pink sticker on it, and get rid of it. But if we can work with the property owner and make some money on this, that would be really good. So again, we're moving right along here. Neighborhood Watch report. There were very few incidences of crime reported in Leilani last month. The report is posted on the agenda website here. I don't believe there's anything else. Rod, do you have anything else from Neighborhood Watch?
No, I don't.
Okay. Anybody who is interested, I know Neighborhood Watch are recruiting other individuals. They've lost a couple of people recently, so I know they are looking for people to go back on patrol. There are other ways that you can help. There are other ways you can participate if you don't, or you don't feel comfortable doing the driving. But there was one other thing about Neighborhood Watch that I wanted to mention. Oh, yeah. They are hosting a little fire ant workshop. And again, the poster for that and the information is at the bottom of the agenda. And I just wanted to remind people that we are going to record it. We will take our Zoom equipment down there, and then we'll be able to post that to the website. So if you can't get down to the pavilion to participate in the little fire ant workshop, we will record it for you. And having recently been bitten by one of the darn things, it ain't no fun, people. So architectural committee, just a reminder at the moment, that is myself, Rod Kendall, Richard William, and Sunshine Woodford. And we are considering one other applicant for that. And again, we've had one house that we approved, very nice construction. And again, the only other two complaints were about junk cars, which I think we've addressed. So, and I know in the past there's been some questions about whether we are going to post the minutes for that. Well, we just did. There's at this point no plans to have regular meetings until we get into looking seriously at how the CCR and Rs are written and how we administer them. But that's something that we're looking for input from as well. So, and again, we told you this was going to be a quick meeting. We, on the website, there is a recording of what the first community information workshop that we held, where Hawaii Electric and Hawaii Energy gave a pretty good overview of all of the grants, loans, assistance programs, the rebates, the appliance replacement. You know, do participate in that. There's really no reason to leave your old appliance sitting out there when they will pay you to come get it. So there will be other ones coming up. We will talk about that here shortly. So moving right along here, new business. Steve, did you want to address the need for a combined policy manual?
We're already doing that, I thought.
The draft is up there. Most of those are fairly self-explanatory. There has never been a fiscal controls policy, and I think we all agreed that, you know, we need to do that. We need to have a whistleblower protection. We need to have employee relation protection programs. We need to have all of our existing policies combined into one document. When we first took our seats, we got some assistance, a lot of assistance actually from Kiola and from some of the past board members. But it behooves us to leave this organization in an orderly fashion so that whoever comes after us has the 3-ring binder with all of the policies in place, all of the bylaws, all of the documents you need. You just hand it over to them and go, here's when the insurance is due. Here's when you file this paperwork. Here's where you do this. This is who's responsible for doing this. So take a look at that draft document. If we've missed anything, let us know. We're kind of not in the business of policing people to death, but on the other hand, you know, good fences make good neighbors and good rules make good organizations. So
It's not policing people to death. It's for next year when they do the vote and the new board comes on, they'll be able to have a policy manual to look at it and say, okay, here's what we need to do, rather than what we had when we came on board. There was nothing, you know, it was hide and seek.
Yeah.
So it's just setting it up for the next group of people.
Yeah.
Gone through, I wrote a charter to ask for a committee for election policy and procedures. I did a draft. I have someone that checked it today and did a second draft. Now we have to sit down and go over it. I would hope by Wednesday to submit it to the other 2 board members And then I don't really want to wait until next month to get it underway. There's a lot of research that
No.
needs to be done.
Let's get it
So-
going immediately.
Yeah, once I get other board approval, then I'll be trying to contact some of the members out there because I believe in a committee being the people bringing stuff forward.
Great. You can send me the most recent draft. We can add that into the
Yeah.
policy manual.
Like
That-
everything, not everything's in total agreement. So we're working it. And then we got to work it with you
Yeah.
two.
Good luck with that.
Oh, come on, guys. What we have is, and somebody's trying to get in. There we go. I don't want to say anything negative about what happened of how we ended up being the board.
Then don't.
I'm not going to. What I'm saying is that a good policy will say, this is when your dues are due by. This is when you will be in good standing. This is when you have to submit your interest in being on the board. This is the date by which we
That's-
will have vetted.
That's all in the second draft. It's
Yeah,
a lot more extensive than I had envisioned it. And if people are willing to put that much additional work in, I think the whole thing can be rolled up. The timeline now we're looking is well before the next election, well before nominations are due to be submitted.
good.
Well,
Good.
be
Yeah,
about 2 weeks.
we just need a list of hard dates and make sure that we
Correct,
hit those hard dates and things don't slip like the last 2 times.
correct.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then again, that's a roadmap for every future board to follow. So thank you, Rod, and thank all the people who are working on this because it's badly needed and it's going to work. So, which brings us to the next item, which is the advisory committees. One of the things that we are insisting upon is participation from the community. We physically can't do this all by, we don't want to do this by ourselves. We are the caretakers, or the managers, but it's you, the members, that run this community, or should. It's your wishes and wills that we look at. Now, on the other hand, we're not going to do really dumb, stupid things just because 3 or 4 people want that to happen. And so we will think of us as the caretakers. I think that's the best.
It's a community association. We should be
Yes.
driven by the community.
Yes, it is. It is. So under that list of advisory committees there that we've started a list on here, Rod talked about the election procedures. We really do need to think about, what do we want to be in 5, 10, 20 years? This community has been through some major geological changes and some major cultural changes as well. I would encourage you, when we post the minutes here, I will post the 2020 census figures. And if you thought you knew what Leilani was, then look at the actual data from the 2020 census, because we have some challenges to overcome here. And we need to be looking at rebuilding on more than one level. We're interested in sustainability. We have a beautiful facility at the Moco Street Park. There are grants available. We certainly want to look at bringing down some of the utility bills there. Again, when we had that workshop from Hawaii Electric and Hawaii Energy, there are things we can do that will bring down some of the utility costs. We're going to work with Neighborhood Watch, again, who are actively involved in invasive species. And thank you, Mark, who came and poisoned my Albizia tree. Actually, the one you see behind me in this image is no longer with us, thank goodness. It's still there, but all its leaves are gone, which is quite happy because it had grown, I think, 15 feet in the last year and 10, well, the last 14 months. So you probably are aware that the state is actively working toward a cesspool replacement program. And because this is actually my area of expertise, I am looking at working with a number of entities to look at funding for that. And the last one here, obviously, is we need people to go out and look for and help write the grants. I can do some of this, but as most of you know, I do work full time, so my time is limited on this. I have access to a lot of grant research sources. And I just actually found one today. We have the possibility of doing some specific programs for our Native Hawaiian residents. But I'm not really ready to discuss that in a lot of detail because it's still a bit it's formative stage.
Yeah, we definitely need people on the grants committee. The community could really benefit from that.
Yeah, and just to remind people that Neighborhood Watch is a 501c3, and they are more than happy to be the host, the agent for applying for grants. They were the ones that helped us apply for the Kubota Foundation grant. And I just did want to mention that we're within a few weeks, they will be choosing the 5 principal grantees. It is vitally important that as much positive information about the community, about where we're headed, about what we're doing, get onto social media, because these grant agencies look at things like that. If we are fortunate enough to be chosen as one of the main first 5, it then becomes, you can double the amount they will give based on community input. So instead of $100,000 for equipment, we would be looking at $200,000, which can do an awful lot of good here as far as setting Neighborhood Watch up for disaster management, disaster response. But principally, it will replace all of our main pieces of equipment. And that is a good chunk of change that is costing us money right now to keep these things running. So
Michael needs a new tractor.
Yes, Michael definitely needs a new tractor.
Yeah.
We need to stop waiting months for parts for an ancient vehicle to miraculously appear from somewhere so we can actually use it. So
the 3 people from Kilauea recovery team that visited yesterday and we took around, they took a lot of pictures. We talked a lot of story. They asked if we had anybody that would be willing to document what repairing the roads has done for them on a personal basis, because that goes along with the pictures and might help us to get additional monies down the road. I sent out 3 emails late yesterday, no responses yet. In particular, if you're on Malama side, south of all the cracks, if you could put together, somebody could put together a story of how bad it was and how good it is now, it might help us when that new money comes available for the next grant for the roads. Thank you.
yes, definitely. We need more positive social media activity, highlighting who we are and that we are one community. Can't stress that enough. There were some community information stuff at the end of our agenda here. We do have the next community Zoom event after the Little Fire Ant one, which I believe is the 18th. Yeah, the 18th. We're going to be putting together a panel together about a pretty serious issue in this part of Puna, and that is domestic violence. Who to call, how to file a restraining order, where you can get help, what kind of response is out there. If you need a safe harbor, if you just need to go somewhere safe, the people that you can contact, how you can let someone know that you're in a dangerous situation, alerting the person who may be harming you. So that will be our second community information event. Was there anything else on the agenda, gentlemen, that you wanted to talk before we open it up for our members?
I'm good.
Yeah. I do see one, the correspondence. We had a request to resume in-person meetings, and believe me, nothing would be nicer than to be able to gather again. But again, this weekend, several people tested positive after the Saturday event. Somebody alerted us that they were positive before the Saturday event, but only a couple of hours, so it was impossible to cancel it. This is not something to be taken lightly, ladies and gentlemen. COVID is far from over. The variants are pretty nasty. We have quite an older population. I'm not going to call us elderly because I think we're all in the same age bracket at the moment, but we're vulnerable, and we have a lot of vulnerable people in this community. And, you know, I'm sorry if this upsets some people, but we put the health of our residents first.
Yeah, we don't need anybody going to the emergency room with some kind of sickness that they got at a meeting. It's that simple.
Yes, exactly. And so, that being said, let me have a look here. Who has put things into the chat window? Okay, we have a question. And Diane, would you like a microphone and a video feed to ask that directly? If you would, let me know in the chat window. If not, we'll address your question here. Okay, she says no, thanks. The question is, have we hired, did the association rehire the prior attorney? So actually that's two attorneys. Do you want to address that, Steve?
Sure. With Barry Kinman, he's the corporate attorney. He was on retainer. We had the dueling board members, which were removed by the community. Barry put his services on hold till that was addressed. It's been addressed. He's back on board. Revere and Associates, same thing for the lawsuit. They're back on board. When I get back from the mainland, I will be having a chat with Amanda.
Okay. Okay, the question here is, where are we at with our bank accounts? Social media has posted that they were frozen. Who would like to tackle that one?
I'll take it.
Okay, take it.
So the counter board went down and they printed some stuff up on letterhead saying that they're taking charge, and they tried to take control of the bank account. I went into the bank and I had the account frozen. And they hijacked the DCCA form, which is for the banking. We redid all the forms. And I've been in contact with the Attorney General, the attorney, and the bank accounts. Hopefully we'll be back to normal tomorrow.
Okay, I see.
Let's say Monday. Tomorrow's a holiday.
Tomorrow is a holiday, yes. Also, I contacted DCCA and asked specifically how we can prevent the DCCA forms being changed again. Because every time we have to redo these forms, it costs us money. We expedited the return of proper control of these last week. I personally paid for it because our accounts are frozen, and that's fine with me. I'm happy to do that. But that's almost $100. And for us to have to keep doing this would be unconscionable. So we think we have that taken care of. Okay, I see Patricia Jones, you have your hand raised. Would you like to have a microphone and your video? Let me know in the chat window. Okay, no, she has not. Still has a hand raised, but has not indicated. Oh yeah, yes, she does. Okay, 1 second, Pat.
Patty.
Okay, Patty, yes. Okay, we will unmute. There we go.
Hello.
Hello, let me give you. I'll try to give you your video. There we go.
Oh, no, great loss.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Patty.
I wanted to let everybody know that I closed the GoFundMe account, and thank you everyone for your donations. I've put the notice into the GoFundMe people. The money is being dispersed to Greg, and there's enough money in there to reimburse Greg and Kay and to pay Nanavali, because Nanavali waived their fee when they found out this was not an LCA run ballot, but it was a personal ballot that Kay and Greg had paid for. So we will be able to reimburse them after all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you one and all. That was a very generous thing. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for doing that. And I'm sure Greg and Kay appreciate it.
Yeah.
They do, and I'm happy to have done it. I thought that this was a community effort, and it should be shared by all of us. So, but it couldn't be on the LCA.
No, this had to be a membership driven event. And
Absolutely.
Driven ballot, and we remained strictly impartial. So
absolutely. And that was all I had to say.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, does anyone else wish to chime in? Okay. No? No other comments? My goodness, we're
happy.
We're happy? Do you see anyone else? I don't see anyone else that wants to speak tonight. That being said.
Am I still there?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Once you get the charter turned in to work on elections, shortly after that, I'll be turning in a charter to get a committee together to work and document what's going on with our lava damaged properties. And I need a committee with membership support to decide the direction that we're going to take. That's going to be with the buyout program and the buyout starting real soon. That's going to be kind of a fast track, but I have done a lot of the documentation. That's one reason I want a committee. They could double check everything I've done, because that's how I like to do it. So probably in a week, you'll have that charter also.
Yeah, one of the things that we would, Rod's put an awful lot of work in looking at the PDF of the map of Leilani, of going back in and checking the county's assessment on the lots, making sure that the lava map is accurate. And anybody, I mean, I can do it. I have, when I have some, when I don't sleep one of these nights, Rod, I can go into Acrobat and update that map. If anybody on the call has Acrobat skills and would be willing to work with Rod on updating and re-editing that Acrobat file, that would be so appreciated.
I've already gone to the county records and I pulled all 732 properties in the lava affected zone and the peripheral properties around them. I've got that all in a spreadsheet. if there's a way I could open that map and take it up to date, I would like to do that, but I probably need help on it. So if somebody
Yeah.
has Acrobat, they know how to do it, great.
I
Yeah.
want to work with you on that because I found a lot of errors on that list. Just
Yeah.
people being billed that shouldn't be billed.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah, I had found 47 and then I found 20 that should have been that weren't. So it was
Yeah.
not a very accurate list. Well,
Yeah. Well,
47,
it's an
77
accurate
out of
list.
700, 10% error.
It just needs to be cleaned up. I'll work with you on that.
yeah.
Thank you.
And yeah, my organization has an ArcGIS license, and I have a couple of who would probably volunteer to help us do an actual ArcGIS map, and that would be interactive with fields. So that anytime, like if somebody sells and you have a new set of owners come in, you don't have to redo the whole thing. You just open up that particular entry, update it, and it will update the map. So
I would
it's,
think the county would have that. The
yeah.
FEMA HUD people,
Yeah,
the FEMA HUD people probably have that.
yes, well,
Have we asked them if they have that and can we get a copy of it?
oh, that's how we ran the actual definitive mailing list the last time we were trying to update for the annual meeting. We used the county's generated owners list from their ArcGIS map. So I don't see why we couldn't set up a partnership with them and FEMA and
Rod,
just.
can you ask
Yeah.
Julie if we could get a copy of that? I know they have it.
Yeah, I'll contact her.
All right, thank
yeah,
you.
Great. Yeah, because trying to manually do it in the Acrobat map is time consuming. If we can work directly.
Well, I think it's already done.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if we can work directly with their ArcGIS map, we don't have to mess with the old PDF.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's already done. That's
Yeah. There is a question from Steve Gullis wanting to know, how would one indicate the willingness to serve on one of the committees that you are discussing, such as the elections or the bylaws? You just did, Steve. We will send you an email.
Steve's last name, please.
Gullis, Gollis. Yeah, and I'll send you the email from the registration. Are there any other questions, gentlemen and
I saw
ladies?
Lee had his hand up.
I don't see that.
It was up, then it disappeared.
Yeah, I don't see anybody else. No. Does anyone have anything else they want to say to put on the record before we? See, I told you this was going to be a nice, quick, business-like meeting, and here we are, 45 minutes.
I've got one thing. I just want to say thank you to everybody in the community for their support.
Yes, yes. And also, we're going to start doing nice things. Today, we've been having some issues in the neighborhood, as Steve knows before he left. There are some people in this community who do bad things. And whenever we call the Pahor police, they come. They came on Saturday. Anytime you call them, they come. So today, on behalf of the association, I took them 3 dozen donuts as a thank you for everything they do for our community, because we definitely need them. Okay, I see another message in here. Oh,
He has her hand up.
Diana O'Healy says, thank you, one and all. Yes, thank you, one and all. Okay, who has their hand up?
T Perry.
Let me have a look here. Where are you? Ah, there we go. Ask to unmute.
I just wanted to say how appreciative I am after all the things we've been through this year, that this is such a wonderful, thoughtful, informative meeting, the way it should be. Mahalo nui loa to you three. Love
Yeah.
ya.
Thank you.
Thank you. We do feel like we've aged a little bit in the last few weeks, but on the other
So
hand,
have we. So have we. But the future's bright. You got a rainbow behind you, so all's good. Mahalo.
thank you,
Wow.
thank you, thank you. Okay, let me see here. I'm going to mute you again. Anyone else have something to say or want to say? Oh, I see something on here. June 16th, Coffee with a Cup at the Kumakahi Shopping Center at the Kohala Coffee. Yeah, thank you, Deborah Preston. She says same thing here. Just to let everybody know, elections are coming up and there will be a voter registration drive, I believe. Yeah, at the Kumakahi Shopping Center. I believe it's August 3rd and 4th. If you aren't registered to vote, register to vote. Voting, as we have just realized, has consequences. And for that, we thank you all. Oh yeah, Pat says 10 a.m. The Coffee with a Cup. So yeah, it was funny coming out of the store with this big box of donuts, and my husband wanted to know if any of those were for him, and I said no. So any other comments, ladies and gentlemen? Anything you want to add, Rod or Steve?
I'm good.
We're
I'm
good.
good.
We're good.
Yep.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are closing the recording down, and we'll see you all again in July. Feel free to contact any of us. On the website, there is a how to contact us form. We will distribute that to the relevant officer, and things will be calmer now. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Night. Thank you.
Night.